All right, so it's Todd Atkins, and I'm here with Gabe Rednose. We're both Oklahoma guys, so sometimes I'm able to get some local fighters in here. And it's been a while since I talked to him. First time I talked to him, he had just fought in the Martial Combat League, which is Dylan Smith's show. And so we're going to talk about some of the stuff he's done since then. And as always, before we start, check out my sponsor, Live to Fight Design. If you use my promo code, you can get $20 off your order. Fight banners, gym banners, anything you like from there. All right, so Gabe, since last time we talked, like I said, it was a Martial Combat League. Maybe kind of take me through some of what you've been doing since then.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on the show. Always a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, I
Appreciate it.
appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Martial Combat League was February of last year. I weighed in, I think it was like 213 pounds. Just so happened an opportunity arose and I got the call from Northwest Fighting Alliance over there in Arkansas for a 205 title fight against the undefeated wrestler. I said sure because I was already training a little bit, dropping my weight down, so wanted to see how I could compete at 205. Um, Went over to Arkansas. I think he was 3-0, 4-0. Got the TKO first round, and just so happened that Joe Stevenson was one of the special commentators there, and he was actually the director of the United States team. He reached out to me and asked if I wanted to be the representative for the 205-pound weight class, then go to the Pan American Championships in Mexico later in June. And I think this was in April at the time. So I said, sure, started training my ass off. Got to go out all of May and train in California with Joe. I stayed up there in Victorville, trained with Joe, and we got to cross train at Cobra Kai and Dan Henderson's Fight Center. All 30 days, and that helped me in my fight camp to prepare for the Pan Ams in Mexico.
So you just got that much time, like you didn't have to work or nothing?
So yeah, my work blessed me. Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to Lucky Star. They really helped me out. I had to take they approved 30 days of no pay. I
Okay.
could leave, take a 30 days of absence, and nothing would happen to my job. Everything would be the exact same uh, when I'd come back. So that's cool of them to let me do that and give me the opportunity to try to make something happen.
Now, kind of, what'd you take away from your training out there? I know you've done some other training, like at Jackson's and stuff. So how was this different?
Joe Stevenson is not like any other coach I've ever had in my life, and I've had a lot of really great coaches in my life. Uh, he can just break it down to a degree that I can't even explain. Really, I know that sounds silly a little bit, but he's a great teacher, and his and I styles are very similar. We just really clicked, and I learned a lot in those 30 days that I was there for sure.
So he was putting together like a American team. Is that what it was?
Yeah, yep, like the USA team. Yep. We fought under IMAF, which is it's not really big here. Like before he reached out to me and asked me about it, I really didn't know what it was, if I'm being honest with you. It's really big in like everywhere else besides here, like Russia, China. It's like all like very popular over there. International Mixed Martial Arts Federation. They have regional qualifiers all over the world that you can qualify to fight in the world tournament. They take the top 32 ranked athletes from each weight class and put them in a one tournament setting for the world championship 5-day tournament. If you place in the top, I think it's top four at any of the regional qualifiers, that'll qualify you for the big bracket at the world championship.
Hmm. So who were some of the other people there that you kind of remember?
Like on Team USA with me,
Yeah.
Anthony Orozco, he was the 185er. He's actually making his pro debut coming up. Uh, Lester Bates down from Texas, he was the 155er. Jonathan Powell, really good prospect out of California. Shane Collins, another good prospect out of California. I think I was the only I think I was the only one. It was like Texas and California. Those were the only states, and I think I was the only other one outside of those two states, I believe.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty cool of him
Actually,
to.
we had a heavyweight from New York, I believe.
I mean it's cool of him
Actually,
to give you the opportunity, to.
I was shocked, but I never really heard of it. So after I did a little research, I was like, for sure, I'll try it out. So I got my first little taste of international competition a little bit.
Now, have you ever been to Mexico?
No, I never been anywhere, so I had to go get my passport and everything. And first time, Joe couldn't make the event, so I really was going down there by myself. I didn't have a coach,
Man,
didn't
that's
know anyone
crazy.
really. Flew in and out by myself.
Oh
Yeah, so it was
man,
a little bit intimidating, but I tried to make the most of it for sure.
that's crazy, man. Like you had no one to go with you.
Yeah, no, well, it kind of sucked because we were responsible for a lot of like paying for everything. So luckily I have really good sponsors who helped me out and all pitched in and helped me financially afford it.
Now,
Like
did you?
all the other countries, they actually sponsor their team, so they have the funds to back everything up and pay for a lot. But this was USA's first year back in a while, so they have to, I guess, save up the funds for a while.
What about the other guys that were on this team? There was nobody with you, or how did that work?
Yeah, I mean, we were all there. Um, sorry about that. We were all there. Uh, but you kind of like, a few of the California guys, their coach was there. The Texas guys, their coach was there. Uh, so they kind of had like their own little clique, which they were all good to me. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I had a great experience with all of them, and uh, they all, they treated me like we were teammates and everything. But I still didn't have, like someone I like personally knew there.
Mhm.
But no excuses. It was an awesome experience, and I'm deeply apologize for
No, no,
that.
no, it's okay. You're trying to get it to stand.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Well, tell me about Mexico because I haven't been to Mexico either. So where was it that you went?
We went to Monterey. Um, I'm really unfamiliar, like with any, like you said, I've never been anywhere, like I haven't been anywhere east in the United States, but I've been to most states to the west. But uh, other than that, I have never been out of anywhere. So it was all pretty new to me. Went to Monterey, which was somewhat, they call it like the most Western civilized state down there or city down there. So it wasn't bad. It was all right. Um, it was pretty clean. Nothing terrible or nothing like that. We fought in a pretty big arena. Uh, can't remember what it was called, but pretty big like gym slash arena where their professional basketball team played. They just
Mhm.
had multiple cages set up in there.
Like where'd they have you stay? Was the hotel pretty good or
Yeah, at the Crown Plaza. It's pretty big hotel. Yeah, biggest hotel I've ever been in.
it was a good facility and all that?
Yeah, yeah, it was all right. You could definitely tell though that the USA isn't really liked by any other country for sure.
Yeah. Oh, I've had
Yeah,
friends that fought down in Mexico and they said they were getting stuff thrown at them and all kinds.
yeah, yeah, we were getting booed and it was pretty crazy. But not just from Mexico though, but just like in general, you could tell that like the USA, uh we don't have like a good vibe to other countries, I guess, because I don't know, I feel like we got treated pretty poorly about everywhere we went, from everyone.
Really?
Just like a
Not
little
like that
disrespect.
everywhere.
Yeah, just like a little disrespected a little bit. Like we were, for example, like we were like the first ones to the banquet where we all had to weigh in. Uh, like our entire team was there, first ones all checked in, and they let every other country, all 14 other nations, wait. They waited on them and let them all go before us. So we were waiting to weigh in and everything, and some of the guys were cutting really bad, and they wouldn't let us weigh in first. They made us weigh in last.
Hmm.
Just a little example. I don't know. I thought that was kind of shitty a little bit.
And so it was basically like a Mexican promoter.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. But it was cool though. I mean, it was a great experience all in all. I really enjoyed it. I would do it again for sure.
Now, what'd you take away from the fight? Because that was like your first loss in maybe 5 fights.
Um, Shoulda, coulda, woulda. I have no excuses. The only thing I got to say is I did hurt my knee week two of my camp. It popped really loud and it definitely didn't help getting caught in the knee bar, same knee, that was already injured going into it. But he did a really good job setting it up. He manipulated me right where, he wanted me and not taking nothing away from him. But 9 times out of 10, I smoked that guy Howell for sure. I've already tried to run it back with him. Uh, we're actually going to maybe try to get him to come to one of Dylan's shows
Hmm.
for a rematch. Uh, but I don't know if he ever responded or not. But I would for sure do that any day of the week.
But I mean, like a lot of people talk about wins. This is, like I said, your first loss in a few fights, like five
Yep.
fights. What did you maybe take away from it?
Um, you know, I really have nothing to say. No excuses really. I trained very hard. I was very well prepared. He just caught me. He did his job. And he set it up nicely and he put some pressure on that area that was already pretty sensitive and it didn't take much, to finish off what was left in there. I did have surgery though afterwards, so I'm 100% healed now. Everything is good to go and moving forward we're good.
Now, when do you think about turning pro? Because you've had, several amateur fights already.
um I for sure want to try 185 when I make my debut. I'm thinking maybe I re to be honest with you, I really want to collect some of the bigger promotions hardware before I go pro. You know, 3 or 4 tough fights. Against some respected opponents to test myself still, gain that experience against those tougher guys. Maybe collect some hardware as well, hang on the shelf, show my kids when they get older. Then turn pro and see what I can do there.
So I saw that you were kind of going to Lovato's now. Like, how long have you been
Yep.
going there?
So when I came back from California, in June, so it's coming up on like a year, but I've been actively training there for about 4.5 months. After I got back from Mexico, I had trained there a few weeks leading up to um, the Pan Ams, and then after I got back, I had surgery, so I wasn't really training. But it's been about 4.5 months though, and I've been consistently going
Now,
back on a normal routine.
do you get to train with him a lot or no?
Yeah, actually, Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon are the days that he's in there sometimes, and when I get to make those practices, they're always, pretty serious. So I really enjoy uh, learning from him because he's one of the best, American legend. That's what they call him.
Yeah.
He's a beast. I've never felt some pressure like that before. So he's a monster.
Yeah, I mean, you think because like the last fight you had, for example, you lost on the ground, so you kind of wanted to tighten that up more.
For sure. I want to tighten everything up, really. I consider myself a ground fighter anyway, so I'm always constantly trying to, sharpen that blade as well, sharpen my striking as well. Uh, but I for sure would consider myself a jiu-jitsu fighter, especially now. I feel like, I didn't really get to showcase my jiu-jitsu like I wanted to on the biggest stage, where it would have been the perfect, way to showcase it, and I failed to do so. So that's made me really hungry to even sharpen it even more. So the next opportunity I get, I really would like to get a submission win, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean the international experience. A lot of guys
Yeah,
had experiences like that back in the earlier days. Where they kind of went somewhere where stuff was not on the up and up, maybe. Completely.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
guess it's a good experience to have. But
yeah, for sure. They actually did the World Championships in Serbia. I didn't get to go to them because I wasn't gonna pay out of pocket to go all the way over there and on that. But
Yeah,
the
that's
rest of I was the only one who didn't go. Everyone else went. No one brought home gold, but a few of them made semifinals, which is pretty impressive.
yeah. Do you think you're going to try to do that again?
If I'm still an amateur, but I don't think I will be by the time that rolls around. But maybe, I don't know. Who knows? We'll just see. We'll just see how it goes in this fight coming up and what happens there.
So it has to be all amateurs.
Yes, yes. Top prospects in each country represent their national team, and they take the best of the national team to the tournaments.
Hmm, it's interesting. So what do you think? What event do you think you're going to do next?
Uh, so I'm actually fighting June 16th, uh, for the California state title, main eventing Hendo's Fight Night, Temecula, California.
Oh, so since you were training kind of at Dan's, they gave you opportunity.
Yep. The president of CAMO, California Mixed Martial Arts, reached out to Joe, and uh, my name came up, and it kind of just worked out perfect. But it's
So
upper weight class at cruiserweight because it was vacant. So if I win this cruiserweight one, I plan to call out for the 205 one. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
yeah, I mean, how was that? Because like you were saying, you wanted to do 185, and now you're having to do 205. Your last
Well,
fight in this one.
maybe when I go pro, I'll try 185. Whenever I was in elite shape last year training for the Pan Ams, I got down to 198 pounds at 9% body fat. And I felt really good. I was running, 5 miles a day, very easy. And my endurance was crazy. I was just in really elite shape, felt great. So I maybe wanted to make the push the extra mile and see if I could get down to 85 or not, maybe eventually. But yeah, for sure, this was an exception just because it was for such a prestigious title. Like that California state title is probably the highest title you could fight for as an amateur here in the United States. Just because California is so massive and so many prospects come out of there, it's cool to be, to get the opportunity to fight for it. So I said, sure, I'll go up to 230. It's been nice because I've been lifting and eating, whatever really, and really incorporated a strength and conditioning program this camp, and been lifting weights. Feel pretty strong, so 230 will be a good number for me.
Yeah, but it's got to be hard to kind of bounce around, and not
Well,
have a weight where
after I
you're
had
kind of.
sur after I had surgery and everything, I got back up to 225ish anyway. So, 'cause last year before I made that serious weight cut, I was 290 something. So I kind of got down to 220ish. Took a few jiu-jitsu tournaments at 220. Did that Dylan's event it was a heavyweight, but I weighed in 213, and then that was the lightest I got there. And then I took that 205 fight. So ever since then, I kind of been floating around, you know, 210ish, and got to where I was walking around 200 for all the Pan Am fights. I weighed in at 200 pounds, 5 pounds under the weight limit. So I got to where I was walking around pretty lean. Um, just kept my intensity up in all my training, kept the weight off, got to where I was eating. I trained my body to get full on just meat and veggies, so I didn't eat a lot of carbs. So that really was the key for me to stay as lean as I was.
Now, when you're not training Lovatos, what are you doing? You're mostly wrestling.
Nope. I just strictly train at Lovato's, and then I just follow a strength and conditioning program with one of Lovato's guys, strength and conditioning coaches.
Because you were doing some stuff where you lived too, right? Before last time I talked to you.
Um, yeah, that was kind of just my own, just trying to stay in shape around here. Just because it kind of stinks because anywhere I go, it's going to be about an hour drive. So I'm not in a great spot for that type of stuff.
Hmm.
Because I'm not really close to any gyms. I think it's like 50 minutes to Enid, where Dylan's at, 55 minutes to where he's at, and then like 50 minutes to where Lovato's is at. admin 50 minutes, 55 minutes. So
You
no
got to
matter where
make
I
your
go,
own
it's gonna
thing.
maybe, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe down the line. That'd be cool.
Bring some guys in that, from your area or whatever, like your
Yeah,
garage.
yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be
I mean,
cool. Maybe.
yeah, it'd be doable. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be
I wake up early. I sacrifice a lot of sleep to make it into Lovato's.
right.
Just because I have two kids here at home as well, and full time job. So I usually wake up at like 4:30, 4:45, and I'll drive to the city, and I'll get to class around 5:50 ish, and start class at 6. Go to the morning jiu-jitsu classes every day, and then on Tuesday, Thursdays when I can make the MMA classes, I go there as well.
Yeah, because I knew lots of guys like on Oahu that made their own thing. Max Holloway was one of those guys. He wasn't running the place, but he was part of a group of guys who made their own thing in Makaha because they didn't have the
Yeah,
money to join the better gyms. So they kind of made their
yeah.
own
If
spot.
I didn't have my sponsors that I do that had helped me paid for Bravato's, I'd be in the same spot. So I understand completely.
Yeah, they just got some friends and they turned out some good fighters.
Yeah, for
Max,
sure.
John Bernard, who just won in bare knuckle, he was part of that group. So they
Dang,
had a lot of
cool.
good local fighters too. So yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, they did that, supplemented their training pretty effectively. I mean, so
yeah. I'd be open to that for sure. Maybe one day.
because you probably got some guys out there in Kingfisher that would train with you probably.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yep. I could for sure scrounge up with probably 5, 10 guys, probably pretty easily.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be doable. Now, what do you
Yeah.
think? Like, are you looking at any local events to do some fights, or are you mostly looking outside of?
Um, for sure focusing up on this one coming up, but possibly MCL title fight in August, maybe. Maybe we'll see. I would love to do that. Be honored to fight for Dylan. He has a badass promotion, cleanest titles I've ever seen. Have you seen his titles?
Yeah, he's doing a
Yeah,
good
those are
job.
sick.
Yeah,
Yeah, he really is. So that'd be cool to fight for him. I feel like his promotion's really up and coming, and it'd be cool to be the champ of that one, and it'd be local, so I could, maybe pack the house for sure.
have there been some other
Uh,
local promotions though that've been trying to say, "Why don't you come to here?"
yeah, for sure. I might fight for Peak FC title later in the year. Then maybe I'd like to capture the Fury FC title maybe as well. Just to name a few that I'm looking into for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Fury came out here, but most of their shows
Yeah,
are in Texas, right? In Houston.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They
Did you
offered
go to
me
the
a short
Fury
notice.
event here or no?
No, I wish I would have. I heard it was pretty cool. I heard they take pretty good care of their fighters as well. I had a buddy who fought for him. It's actually one of Dylan's guys, his heavyweight. He went down there and beat a 2-0 prospect, I believe, that was up and coming. Short notice. Short notice. I think they offered it to him on like a Tuesday and the fight was Saturday, so or Sunday. So he
Imagine
went
that.
down there.
Yeah,
Yeah, went down there to Houston, smoked this dude. So that's cool.
yeah. Now, have you been checking out like outside of your fights? What have you been checking out? Like in other events or whatever.
Um,
Just UFC fights primarily.
yeah, mainly. Usually I'll watch them. Probably 90% of the time they're on. I'll usually try to at least watch the prelims,
Yeah. What was some of
or
the
if we're home, we'll for sure put it on the big TV, watch them.
what was some of the last fights like? Some off the top of your head that you thought were interesting.
I'm trying to think of his name. He took a short notice fight. Badass jiu-jitsu fighter, Mexican guy. Had the number 10 ranked guy. His debut was against the number 10 ranked guy. Russian. Had him stuck in a deep knee bar, arm
Oh
bar,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Kimura.
yeah, yeah.
What's
Mokayev.
his name?
Mokayev was
Yeah,
the guy
he's
he
a
was fighting.
beast.
Yeah.
Yes, that dude's a beast. He made a fan out of me. Dang it. I cannot think of his name. But yeah, that dude was, I think it might be Diego something.
Yeah, yeah.
but he's a beast. That was a cool one to watch. What other good ones have been on? Um,
Makaev's
what?
from Dagestan, so he just kind of has that, you know. I mean,
That's swagger.
him and his dad moved to the UK, but he grew up in Dagestan, so
Yeah, I think he was undefeated. What is he undefeated?
yeah, he is.
Or lost? Yeah, that was a tough fight to make, but that dude was pretty locked and loaded. He gave him everything he wanted for sure.
Yeah, because he wanted to become like the youngest champion in UFC history, so he goes on Twitter and like challenges everybody like every day. He's trying to
That
get
Brazilian dude.
no Makaev.
Oh,
He's always trying
how
to
old
get
is he?
another fight, another fight. You know,
How old is he?
he's young. I think he might be 21 now. Yeah,
Wow.
but he's always challenging people because he's trying to get
Oh
move
no, I
up.
know who Mohammed Mikaev. Is that
Makaev,
what you
yeah,
said?
yeah,
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the he's a beast too. I know who you're
yeah.
talking about. Yeah. Him funny how he comes up. He's actually like a four-time IMAF world champion. Same thing that I just fought in.
Oh yeah,
He's one he went undefeated all throughout his amateur career fighting for them. So that's really impressive. He had a ton of amateur fights. I want to say close to 20 or 30, I think.
yeah.
But
I
he went
mean,
all undefeated. He went
I
all
guess it's
undefeated
not
and he
so
went
bad to
through.
have a lot. I mean, some people choose not to, you know, but it seems like you're choosing to do more.
I just want to be so confident and comfortable when I get in there. I just feel like I need a little bit more experience being, because I haven't really had to stand up with anyone yet. So I'm waiting for someone to be able to, for sure, shut my takedowns down so I can not be forced to stand up and bang it out with them.
Mm.
So I'm ready to showcase my striking too, for sure, because I haven't really been able to. So I'm excited for that, for sure. This guy I'm fighting, he's in the NFL. He used to be in the NFL, so he's going to be really athletic, explosive. Uh, he's had 11 fights, 7-4. So it'll be interesting for sure.
Who is he?
Cachet Palacio
Mm.
played for the Seahawks,
Mm.
linebacker, I believe.
Yeah, those football guys, some
So
of them translate pretty good, but you know, it's not like wrestling or anything. You know,
yeah, I'm gonna remind him quick. It's not a game for sure.
yeah. Because I mean, some of the football guys, Greg Hardy he didn't do all that well. Eric Anders has done it right, but like you said,
Yeah,
he got his experience in the UFC. Really, he didn't really have a
yeah,
lot of.
yeah.
So I can see what you're saying by doing more amateur fights. I mean,
I mean, not like a crazy amount. It's just like I haven't really taken any like significant damage, in really any of my fights. I mean, my last fight, my knee was already pretty injured going into it, so I knew I was going to have surgery probably no matter what. Um, so really, if you want to consider that, then I guess that's a decent injury. I was out for a little bit for that. But other than that, I haven't really even really got punched in the head or anything. So not really taking any damage. I don't spar a ton. So my brain's pretty healthy. Trying to just maybe build up my resume pretty nice. Take a pro debut. Get a couple fights. Maybe get a shot somewhere. I don't know. We'll see.
yeah, I
We'll see
mean,
how
there's
far I
so
can take.
many events now that you know. Do you feel like it's not that difficult to get opportunities?
I think if you're vocal enough, which I could be, I think I could for sure. Obviously, if I could stack my wins up and have a solid record, maybe I don't know. I don't know what type of record I'd have to have, but I for sure think if you're vocal enough about it, you could get noticed pretty easily.
And does Lovato, is he trying to get kind of into your career at all, or no? He doesn't really
Um,
advise you too much.
when he's there, he does. I mean, he's so busy. He runs a massive academy, and he's doing a lot of seminars all over the country. Uh, but when he's there, he's for sure, very involved and a great leader. And I really enjoy learning from him. Uh, but I don't get to make every class he teaches. I only get to make the few that I get to make, unfortunately.
But I mean,
What's
is
the
he
schedule
trying
like
to?
now?
instill his influence on your career at all?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he is.
Because he fought
I
a
mean, I don't,
lot, so I figured he might
yeah.
tell you
I mean,
this or that. Or
I just think like the way he fought is the style that I want to try to mock. I really like his style, how he incorporated jujitsu and into his MMA game so well. Uh, I hope that eventually I could be able to, manipulate people into those positions so easily and flawlessly like he does. Because he had so many submission wins, and he would just literally use jujitsu to beat these guys and
yeah,
made it look so easy. Which don't get me wrong, he was for sure tested and had a lot of great fights, but I mean he could just manipulate these guys so easily, and no one really knew how to stop it.
yeah. But does he tell you like maybe you should consider doing this show or that show or anything like that?
Um, Not really. I still talk to Joe pretty heavily. Uh, so I'm kind of involved with both of them for sure. It's kind of like I've already had these fights kind of planned, and uh, luckily he gave me the nod and uh said for sure take the opportunity and you know carry the Lovato flag well and represent well, and gave me his blessing. So in regards to that, then yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so he's not. That's pretty cool that he's not trying to say, well, you can't represent me unless you do this, that, and the other.
Right. No, no, I haven't experienced anything like that. I'm for sure blessed to be there. Joe's the one who hooked me up with him. He actually gave Joe his fourth degree on his black belt recently, and we called Lovato whenever I was out there with Joe, and they introduced me, and it just worked out great. Him being, only right there in Oklahoma City, so not terribly far away from me,
That's cool.
so it worked out good.
Now, kind of wind down the interview. If you got like, where can people kind of find you, and maybe something that you wanted to leave the interview on?
For sure. My Facebook is just Gabe Rednose, or I have a fight page on there, Gabe the Freight Train Rednose. Then my Instagram is gred58. Just want to give a shout out to all my sponsors and let them know that how important and special it makes me feel that they would help me out, financially to cover all my expenses that I do during these fight camps. And I for sure couldn't do it without them. Shout out to Lovato BJJ and MMA. Uh, it's been a blessing to get to train there and make that my new home. Uh, Looking forward to carrying the Lovato flag.
All right. Well, Gabe, it was great talking to you again. I appreciate you taking the time and reaching out to me. Like I said, anytime you need anything, you just let me know, or anytime you want to come on. I
Yes,
I
sir. I
wish you good
appreciate it
luck,
more than
man.
you know, my friend.
All right. Well,
I
it was
really
great talking
appreciate
to
it.
you.
Thank you.
Take care. And so, for
You too.
everyone that kind of watches the show here, this is Gabe Rednose. And until next episode, take care.
Thank you.